Hey, I feel like that was in like the sound actually was not only in one ear, and then it kind of went stereo. But did you hear it on both sides?
I think so, but also I don't know why lately I keep thinking I should be like hearing you talking through the headphones, but
No, I don't think so. But
I know. Well, welcome back to Business and Belly Laughs. We actually didn't do the podcast last week, but it's because we had some very important things happening in the company, which was our annual internal company conference. And we have a lot of employees in town. And so we're just dedicating our time to that and to them. And it's been busy.
It's been incredibly busy, and it's like a combination of like we're not like hosting, like they're not staying with us, but I did take the team out. We have three individuals, three team members who've come, two from Pakistan, one from Dominican Republic. They've been on our team for over a year, and we flew them in for our Pride X event. We would have loved to have brought in more, but budget constraints and everything else.
And a lot of them actually
and getting visas.
Yeah,
like just being able to get legally here was a very big challenge.
Everyone's applied for visas.
We take it for granted,
like a completely randomized process for them, or how many people get approved at any one time.
Yeah,
both in the U.S. and on their side, and so. Anyway, yeah, we do totally take the ability to travel for granted. And even
when we asked them their highs and lows when they were at our house last night, and we said, "What's your highs and lows?" And they literally were like, when they stamped and they let me in, like that was my high. Because it's like, oh, really? Like, but you think about it, and like there are people who probably actually get arrested or handcuffed or dragged away.
It's not about being arrested.
I don't think most people do, but
it's not about
there's
that.
A nervousness.
It's this bucket list item. It's the fact that like you hear you're gonna go, your plane lands, but like it's so unfathomable and untouchable that when it happens, it doesn't seem real. It has nothing to do with the legalities of it or feeling like they would have gotten arrested. It's like it's this bucket list item, like so far outside of your reach that an opportunity introduced itself for someone in a country where they never thought they'd be able to get into the United States.
So if we look at, I do not understand that feeling. Like I can't think of any place that I would go where where I feel this huge amount of relief, but like, oh wow, I did that. Right. So, but I'm trying to think, is there other things? And like, for example, if I was ringing the bell in the New York Stock Exchange, I think I would have that feeling. Like, wow, it's happened.
I hate to say this out loud because I never want to be this person, but I can't even say it.
Why? What happened?
Nothing. I was just going to say we're very white privileged right now. And truly in every sense of the word, like in the phrase.
I would say American privileged.
Sure, correct.
Like,
you're right. It has nothing to do with race.
Saying. Like,
but that's the point, is that we will never know. There is nothing
that's
to compare.
What I'm saying.
You can't sit here and compare.
I can't think of anything.
But it doesn't matter. That's not what it's about. We're having the discussion about how someone else felt, not needing to relate or be.
I want to be able to feel that. No, I'm envious of that feeling. No, think about it. Like
no, don't even say that either, because it's.
But I'm not. No, I truly believe that way. It's how I feel. Like I'm envious of like when there are people that experience joy in life, and you're like, wow. Like when you see someone experience joy, you're like, wow.
But it's interesting. Like I could sit
here.
I
want to feel that joy.
I could sit here and explain like there is no actor or actress or singer or songwriter that I could ever meet and be like upset. Like even I would say the biggest thing for me is like a famous
Taylor Swift.
That's what I'm saying. If I stood next to Taylor Swift, like I would be like, oh my God, that's Taylor Swift. But I wouldn't. There are people who would physically cry, like just like break down, be on their knees, the best moment of their life, remember it forever, like cry at a concert because they're listening to songs. That's just not me. No, there is no level of joy or obsession or anything that I have.
That's my point. So what? So you.
But I do remember.
When you look at one of them, do you sit there and go, oh, "Wow, I wish I could experience"?
No,
that
I remember.
Level of joy
I remember going on vacation to Africa once and going on a safari and speaking to our guide about like, what their hopes and dreams were. And this person was pretty incredible, was a safari guide, knew, their land like the back of their hand. But the way that the work was that they left their village for months at a time to do the work, made very little money, stayed on, premise or whatever in their quarters to go out on safari, tours every single day. And they make a very little bit of money to bring back to their village to share with all of the people in their village to then go back and work again. And I remember having a conversation about like, what is this just like dream? Like what would be like, you've made it in life. And it was going to New York City. Right. And like even last night, it was like, I want to drive to New York. There's this New York City is like the epicenter of I've made it. I've made it to America. I've made it. And I sit there and I'm like, and it was cool to be in Times Square the very first time I went to Times Square. But I do sit there and I'm like, I don't have that feeling of needing to like be somewhere. And I'm like, oh, a bunch of concrete buildings, and I'm like, does it live up
to the hype?
Right. When people spend their whole life
done it,
because it's like if you're in these other countries, it's about getting a visa. It's about the funds just for the airline ticket. It's about getting to where you need to be and affording the area that you are and staying in these places. And that was the thing. I was like, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you save up the money? And it was like I was having this conversation like, well, live your dream. And it was so ignorant of me at the time because the reality is that can never be a reality for this person. And even it was sitting there saying like, we can send, gifts or money or clothes or things to be helpful for the village so you can keep your money and they were like, no, people literally send stuff to our country and we don't even go to the post office to get it because they charge us more to take the package than anything that's inside that package could ever be worth it to us. And it's so corrupt by the government and it's so people live in areas that are so less fortunate.
Yeah.
And I feel very blessed, but I would never sit here and go, I'd want less so I can be more thankful for what I have. Like I would never want less,
No,
but I want it. It's an eye opener to being more grateful.
But it doesn't have to be always getting something. So I guess it kind of is because we're humans, but let me bring it to, so today, 2 weeks ago, we launched homeinspections.com, right? And we've spent the last couple months, this thing is only just a few months old.
I feel like you're veering way off topic here.
And for
a
business
like we just went
owner,
from a really deep conversation.
No. What I'm saying is like for a business owner, getting the first sale, like getting that first thing of validation of your idea, I would say could equate for me. Like, because when I get like, and by the way, I just got that right before here. Like today's been a day of ups and downs, and today, and like if we could end it on like, wow, we just got a new client, and we're getting $98 a month for hopefully forever, and then if they get inspections, we'll get more money, etc. But one of our team members, Yusuf, when I first hired him, when I had talked to him, he goes, you don't know this, he goes, but when you gave me the first job you ever gave to me, and I got it, I danced on my couch.
Did he say that?
Yeah. And he might have said his bed or something like that. But he got up and he danced and he screamed at his wife. He's like, he was so happy because he'd been trying for months to get someone to give him a chance. And I gave him a chance. And he was like, that meant the world to me. Well, and he's been with us for a very long time at this point. But I look at that as, wow, he experienced immense joy in that moment. And I am jealous when I see people with joy. Like,
but it's not jealousy because
but it's not like I go around. I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous of you and jealous of you. What I'm saying is that when you see these elements, you could sit there and go, wow, like I want to experience what you're experiencing. It's no different than someone eating amazing food. And you're like, I would really like to experience that amazing food too. Right.
I know. But, speaking of which, that was so crazy. Like a lot of the couple from Pakistan were like, I was really looking forward to coming and trying all the different foods. And because it's so second nature in their home country that they can eat everything there because all of the food is halal.
Yeah,
is that correct? that their food needs to, like, based on their religion, has to be a specific way, or there are specific foods,
and can't eat certain things.
So
in their
most
diet.
food served here in the United States is not something that they can eat. It's against their religion, and so it's like they
being surrounded by amazing
anticipate
things.
that brought this whole other element of not only their experience, but your
You're
experience
here, but you
as their
can't-
host.
Like food is the universal language, right? So it's like going to another place. Like if you and I are traveling, we're like, show us what you got, baby. Like we want to experience the culture.
I'm a foodie. Like I said a little bit ago, there's probably no joy from like a famous person that I would get. The biggest joy that I would probably get, no joke, I would say the probably the one person, not even Bobby Flay, but probably Gordon Ramsay.
I was going to say Gordon
is probably the
but
only.
Bobby Flay was my second.
No, not even Bobby. Bobby wouldn't do it for me at all.
Yeah,
but probably Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, and we talk about if you ever were on one of the like next level chefs and stuff, and you are a tough cookie. Like you were tough.
Oh, he'd make me sob.
But I was like, I feel like Gordon, because you would take it so personally.
Oh, it would hurt my feelings so bad.
It would hurt your feelings, and you would tear up. But you'd only do it one time.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, after the first time, I think that you'd be like,
who knows?
I got this.
But anyway, I mean, it's been so interesting because food to me is, honestly, if I was to give a percentage, if I was to give a percentage of all my travels that I've done, and like if you sat there and you asked me, what are your highs and lows? I'm instantly like, high was the chicken I had for dinner last night. Low was the gelato that was a little too icy. Like I'm just like, in my mind, it's like all surrounding food.
Speaking of gelato. You took me over the weekend. You took me to your new little gelato spot on Main Street. Oh my God,
you guys! It
was pretty good. I had the coconut, which is so funny because there was a farmer's market or like a not a farmer's market, like an art fair on Main Street, and there was a booth with someone with some coconut water and other things, and I was kind of like, it doesn't taste it. And she was like, would you like to try the ice cream? I was like, no. Then we go to the gelato shop, and the only thing I tried two things, and one of them was coffee, and one of them was coconut, and I went with the coconut. It was delicious.
It's a new gelato shop in downtown Sarasota. If you haven't been yet, it's called Fresco. I have no problem promoting them because they're literally the best thing in the world, and it's owned by a sweet little authentic Italian family. It's family owned.
Were both those people family?
Yes, it's family owned.
Was that the mom and the daughter?
Yeah, and it's
I didn't see huge resemblance.
Oh. Anyway,
I just thought it was a worker, and I figured the other person, because she was like, "Oh, look at the baby."
She's the owner. Well, no, she knows me because I've been in there far too often. I know. Yeah, so I discovered this shop, and now it's like if it's 4 p.m. and I'm trying to like kill witching hour with that we're approaching with Abigail, I'm like, where we could go
exactly
is for a small gelato, but no, I was gonna say. 80% of my travels are surrounding food. So it is unfortunate, like if you're a foodie and you're coming from a different cultural environment, you don't think about not being able to try the foods. And so also as a host, one of the things that we were talking about is like you bring people in from another country because you want to give them the opportunity to work in office, collaborate in person, have growth and team building.
Listen.
Yeah. Stop. Collaborate and listen.
Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something. Got to hold me tightly.
You gonna keep going?
Run like a hot Vivian nightly. Will you ever stop?
I don't know.
Cut the lights, and I'll show.
I don't know the rest.
I don't know.
Ice, baby. But
should we talk about Party X?
No, I was just saying like you want these people to come in town, but what other things also? I wouldn't say that we didn't think about. It's just one of the things that becomes a sacrifice on, I suppose, our part as the owners of a company is their ability for transport. So like they're coming from other countries, and oftentimes if you're traveling even in other states, you rent someone a car and you call it a day, or you say, okay, you're just
you typically aren't picking people up.
Like you're going to leverage Uber or Uber services. Yeah. Well, a lot of Uber is connected to a bank account. That's US dollars. That's, and you need a phone that's functioning in that country that you can use for service, not just like WhatsApp where you have to be on Wi-Fi. So it's like there's all these elements where you're like, oh, even like getting transportation to and from isn't that easy. They don't have approval with an international driver's license. So it was like multiple trips to the airport and
and I took the guys out last night and so they came over to our home. We had some appetizers and entertained them, and then I took them downtown on the golf cart.
Culturally approved appetizers. Not my typical
But one of the things
spread.
that they said, we were at the one table we were talking about, we were at State Street and we were sitting there and they said, we've worked for other companies and no company has even
bigger companies,
taught.
larger
Much
tech
bigger
companies that had the money, and
Yeah. And there wasn't even a thought that was a possibility for these other people. And so there was a thankfulness there that I was like, that's why we're
And what you
doing
mean
this.
is like they worked for these companies, they were never flown in because
Just remote.
This is not only their first opportunity to come to the United States. For a lot of them, it was their first opportunity they've ever traveled outside of their country. Period. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But there's so many people in the U.S. who have never left the U.S. either. Like
True.
I feel like I'm well traveled, and I cannot sit here and be ignorant to the fact that like not.
Yeah. I mean, can you count like cruises to like islands as leaving the U.S.?
I would say
What about the people
no.
that go across the bridge to Canada?
I again would say no. However, for people who have done it and they feel like that was their opportunity to like get out of the country or go on a cruise and see somewhere else, then like
totally
I'm not
out
going
of
to
the
take
country.
I'm not going to take that away from them. It counts.
Yeah.
Do I feel that it gives you the cultural experience? No.
You don't think getting off on the cruise ship in Grand Cayman is
The
cultural
only
change?
thing I want to do when I'm on a cruise ship is get off it.
I know.
I was ready to immerse
can-
in the cultural experience and stay on an island and get a flight home. I'm
I
not
know
a
you were. You're not a cruise
cruiser.
girl.
I'm not a cruiser.
Yeah.
No. Because I am someone who loves to immerse in the local culture.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, I've experienced it with you. So yeah. So you wrote on here Prodiac's highs and lows. Were you going to basically do your highs and lows?
Oh,
or are you just kind of sharing like?
Well, I was talking about the internal company conference.
Have you seen the survey results yet?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the survey results.
We got a summary of them today.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anyway, what I was going to say is we didn't have an opportunity to talk about the internal company conference because we didn't come on last week. But I was just going to kind of talk a little bit about what it was we did, why we did it.
Let's walk through it. Because it's important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting when you're planning an event like that. What goes well, what doesn't go well. Like there's always little things, and 90% of the time, if something's going wrong per se, it's like, well, no one knows how it was supposed to go. So if you're the one facilitating and planning it all, then that can be an issue. But usually it's fixed to the naked eye anyway.
Yeah.
I was really thankful. We have a VP of marketing in-house this year, and we got Maria who helps with all of the audio and visual. And so a lot of the planning and actual work at the event itself was done by team members. And that's
awesome.
An
like,
awesome
that's where we were
sign
trying to
of
get
growth.
to.
Yeah. Like that's just really exciting. It's things that I've done my entire life, but to have a team that we can help coach and give direction to, and then have it be as successful as it was, felt really good. So that was a high. And just the location in general, we talked about, you were like, oh, I feel so thankful. It was a freezing cold day. Like we live in Florida, but it was 50 something degrees in the morning. I mean, it was freezing.
But it was nice when we did the event outdoors, which again, the venue was just absolutely gorgeous out there overlooking the water and this balcony and everything. So, but I thought the events went really well. It was fun. I will tell you that. Not that I thought that the events would not go well.
You mean there were a couple of team building
went better than I expected. Like people were laughing and enjoying each other and having fun, and I got a lot of joy out of being a part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
My team crushed it every time. I mean, we might not have won, but we still crushed it.
Well, you did win. No, you didn't. You didn't win any of them.
We didn't win
I was like, wait a second. We were very close in the first. So we did a couple of really fun team building challenges, and when we were talking about doing these events, part of it was what are activities that we can do that will encourage laughter and collaboration and fun, but also make people stop for a second and think about what they had to do during that team building activity and how they can take their strategy or their solutioning or their collaboration and communication to have gotten to a point of success. How can they leverage those things and bring them back into their day-to-day working life?
I'm sorry, keep going.
No, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, you know what would be a dream of mine?
What?
What's the one girl who used to work under the guy for like, and they did the pro, like the
Talking about Game On?
Yes.
Steve's girl that took over the Blair.
What was her? Blair.
Yeah.
She would be like a dream.
She became the CEO, but she actually has her own business now.
I know, but doesn't she do the same stuff?
She's a consultant. Yeah.
I think she'd be an amazing.
They do team building times 10 and executive leadership, summits and things like that. And she, yes, has her own company, and they very much gamify everything that you do. A lot of their activities exist throughout
does
the
Game
year.
On still exist?
I don't know.
Steve still doing his?
I have no idea. Yeah, he stepped down. I have no idea. You have to look into it.
Okay.
But
yeah. Anyway, they were part of when we years ago when we had our incubator. They were a part of the incubator, and they worked out of there. And so because we all did group things and did a lot of stuff, they did some presentations and things.
Yeah.
And I just loved every bit of it.
But I love team building events. I do think that they're beneficial. We were also there. It's a nice way to mix up sitting and listening versus getting up, moving around, collaborating, and getting something out of that too. And just an opportunity to get to know people. We put together, like during lunch breaks, little fun fact sheets of.
The fun facts were amazing. I'd like to frame those.
Yeah, I asked for them to be brought back to the office.
They're
to be
in the
put
office.
Up. But it was essentially like people had to submit a picture and a couple of facts about themselves that you wouldn't guess or wouldn't know. And we do have. Our company is growing. It's growing quickly. We have employees that don't work in the same departments or even in the same physical offices. And so you don't get the opportunity to talk to them or get to know them as much as you'd like to. We have our monthly huddles. It's more of a company update versus an individual update. And so, and we do introduce new employees when they start. They have a few minutes to talk about themselves, but not, hey, here's this random fact about me. And so it was cool because everyone was there in person and you were reading the facts, but you could also have the conversations about them. And so that made for great conversation. And then, of course, we shared the vision, the product roadmap and where we were headed, and allows for people to try to take it all in and ask questions. And really, it's the framework to lay a foundation of understanding. So as we continue to have conversations throughout the year, hopefully they all make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, no, I think it was really good. I am looking forward to reading the feedback from everyone there. Definitely some room for improvement in some areas, and we'll tackle that for next year. And I don't even want to think about it. I feel like we're just getting off like this whole entire winter of time off, Christmas party, projects, like spending, and I feel like we're finally like past that. And I'm like, okay. Well, now we can focus on just also making money. So,
well, the winter months are a low revenue season. We've been very transparent on this podcast about how a couple of our clients on the development side had to pull back, and so revenue was
pulled back all at once.
Yeah, ripped out from underneath us. A lot of it having to do with the type of clients that we have and being impacted themselves from the government shutdown and just losing too much in too little of time and not being able to come back from it. And so, I mean, it's so crazy. Things happen in the world that are turning points for companies. And
yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So it's been a season of stretching.
Yeah.
We are professional yoga instructors at this point, I would say.
I feel more like prison inmate, but hey.
You're in shackles and I'm
I was thinking prison shower. But...
downward dog. Oh God, get out of the shower. Don't drop the soap.
But you know what? I saw this point. I think I shared it with you, and it was this graph.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of a downslide and like a downslide, and it was like a circled, and it was like if you zoomed out, you saw all the growth going up, and then a little bit going down, and if you just focus on that, you can get very discouraged.
Yeah. Versus
where you're coming from, and we always have to sit back and be like, hey, we got to come from that, and our t-shirt business definitely was. I didn't think that I knew there was a downturn in the winter when we bought it. Like it was that way. But the reality is the numbers don't lie. We did better than the previous in the winter, and our upswing is looking stronger than it ever looked before. It's almost a month early. So a lot of the initiatives that we started putting in place, I do believe are paying off. But it doesn't take away the hurt. It does not take away that downturn.
Well, and here's the other thing in business is that when you have a lot of expenses all at once, sometimes you have to take advantage of opportunities, and those opportunities don't sit and wait for you. So, you can lose let's call it a cushion, or your safety net as a company, trying to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. And you can find yourself in a position where you need to build that cushion back up. And in the meantime, you're doing a lot of stretching. And it's interesting because the day-to-day business is running no different than it ever has before. And what I mean by that is clients might be on net 30, 60, 90-day terms, you might have outstanding invoices that need to be paid and no one's overdue. But like everyone in business, they'll pay on the 29th day of the 30th.
Of course.
And so many systems are automated. Hey, your invoice is due on the 11th. Perfect. Set my invoice to be paid on the 10th. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That's like how it goes. And so we sit here as business owners and it's like, we're doing it. We're making money. We can see the upswing. And now we've got to wait for the clients to pay. And so it's business. There's no other better term for it. But I do feel like in the future, shall we be incredibly successful, we are definitely checking the box of the era of challenges and turmoil to make it a good documentary right now.
Well, it's funny that you said that because I was watching, I listen to these different podcasts in the morning and a lot of it's background noise. But this one little segment, it talked about, he's like, I'm looking for my character arc. He's like, every story, the main character enters in challenges and they find themselves and then they
come back out.
They come out of it, right? And so whether that's good or bad, in most places, it's always going to end up good.
Right.
And this guy's like, I'm looking for my story arc. Like, I'm how to find it. And I'm sitting here going, look, I got a pile of story arcs.
Your story is
like,
so...
Like, I can, like, where do you want, I can relate to you. I've been called a one-upper. Do you know what that is?
Of course I know what it is.
Okay.
I'm married to one. No, I'm kidding. No, I actually will say I do not like one-uppers.
Right. And I do not try to be a one-upper. But the problem is that I have done and experienced so much in life that when people are talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've experienced that too, right? Like, and I want to talk about it because I'm excited about life. Like,
You're trying
I love
to
life.
Relate. And they're
I'm
like,
trying
wow,
to relate.
you just squashed.
But my other friends, they're like, you're like a one-upper. Every time someone says something, you have something else to say. And I'm like, no, I'm just sharing. Like, I'm not trying to one-up. In my mind, one-up's like, I'm better than you.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm like you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we're the same. Like, I can relate to you.
Mm-hmm. They might.
It's like, you even, like, occasionally when we're like at like a pool on vacation and I see someone with like the same scars as me and I'm like, they had an ostomy. Like, they're an ostomy. Can I go ask them?
Yeah.
And you're like, do not go ask them.
No, because you just don't know.
And I'm just like, why not? I could be like, hey, scar.
But literally, that's a perfect example. Someone will be like, yeah, I almost died in a car accident or whatever. And you're like, oh, I got in a rollover car accident too.
You want to see the pictures?
I almost died in the hospital with an ostomy. And you're like, okay, bro. So we both almost died. Calm down,
No, but I like to share the stories and stuff.
I know.
I'm a storyteller.
Yes, that is definitely the truth.
Yeah. And so that's just part of who I am.
I know. I should reach out to Netflix today to start filming the
For my story arc?
Yeah. No,
I do. I think what's fun about building a team and doing this all together is that this, if you look at the company story arc, like, I just think it'll be cool to look back and be like, hey, remember when we did this? Like, it's, and we have the pictures, we have the events. Someone mentioned like, hey, I'd love to do more like company events. So it's like, should we put together a summer picnic? And we talked about that before. And then like the last second, we're like, oh, we're going to do like something for Veterans Day or something. And I was like, oh. And again, it's always has to do with like prioritizing events and money and everything else.
I gotta make sure.
You got a 2:00?
I do.
Oh, nice.
No, I think it's like 2:15, so we're fine on time right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we got like 15 minutes.
We do it at all different times. But no, it definitely, the company has grown and changed a lot. People within have too. And that's the thing. So the internal company conference, going back to it, we've ran some of these in the past at previous companies that we've worked at and had some great events. But one of the biggest things that I loved about the internal company events that I facilitated was involving the employees. Right. And what I mean by that is there are people who become loyal members of your company who truly have come in from any position, first of all, it could have been a graduate from college, or it could have been someone who got out of college, didn't have tons of opportunities, and worked in the hospitality business their whole life. Maybe they were in retail. Maybe they were working at Panera. Who knows? And by the way, nothing wrong with any of that at all. But when they've come into a company, you can provide them with tools to just change the trajectory of their career. Maybe give them a job that offers them nights and weekends with a family because now they have one when they didn't before. So that schedule worked for them. It just depends on who you are. But
I think that the future, I think we're going to see it this year. I think we're going to see it in May and June of this year. The amount of young college people who aren't going to be able to get those entry level positions. I think it's going to be a wake up call for everyone.
Yeah, so first of all, I was going to say we have employees come in, their trajectory and growth has changed. So when you hear from one of your peers about their past and where they came from and where they are today, like that's super impactful. And we used to pull people from different departments because you care about your friends and you care about their story and you care about what they work on. So we're a small company that's been around for a couple of years, but we're seeing loyalty already. I mean, in our employees, which is incredible. And there's already a ton of growth that's happened from within. So I look forward to the future where we can have our employees themselves speaking to our growing team, our ever-growing team, and sharing what it was like in the beginning. And I think next year will probably be the first year that makes the most sense. So I'm looking forward to it. But back to what you were saying on jobs coming out and really AI taking it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm specifically referencing AI, and the reality is that you have an experienced person who's now leveraging AI, and so a lot of easier tasks they can just do. They're automating those, and so the need to get that person as a company's growing to get that entry level is harder, right? And even the people I spoke to in this home inspection field, like majority of them are newbies. They're trying to break in, and it's like, how do I break in? And no one else is letting them into the club because they're trying to defend, to put the wall up, which is where a company like us with homeinspections.com literally gives us this ability to provide the first thing. The guy that signed up today, he's like, I have a 9-month-old. He's like, I was in the construction. My dad's been telling me to start my own thing for a while. He's like, I've broken through. I've saved up some money and I'm trying to do it. I'm like, hey, join us. Like, this is what we're going to put together. How much can you spend? And we go from there. So I'm excited, but also excited about us being that. I want to do the same thing that we've done in the past, which is provide that entry level opportunity. And it's kind of selfish in one. We need to kind of approach our company from both sides, right? We want to have a good steady stream of young talent coming in that need that breakout role, which is like the video I showed, by the way. And then you have the seasoned professionals that we need to bring in that are just the right fit and that they've already got a lot of the experience so they can help us grow. Like, I think the young talent helps us do tasks. I think the experienced task people is what helps our company grow.
Yeah, and provide direction and deliverables and training to the younger staff.
Absolutely.
Like, that's how companies do flourish. And so, but with AI automating a lot of things, or even like if we think about it in the simplest of terms, because I was talking about hospitality or retail, when you go to a convenience store these days, or when you go into a McDonald's, there's now screens where you can place your order. This isn't even AI. This is just technology in general. Like, you don't even need to talk to a human to place your order, to put it on a machine, because there's kiosks that are standing there. That's the same with, I mean, literally, speaking of traveling, like coming in and out of the country, you don't have to go through Border Patrol anymore like you used to, because there's face identification and you can do it on your app and then do it on a kiosk when you walk in and you walk through the doors, because their face recognition technology is enough. And so it's just, the world is changing. Technology is changing it. It's not to say that there's not going to be any jobs, but to not have it is scary to think that there's not going to be the ease of these entry level jobs that there used to be when you first come out of college, or maybe choose to not even go to college and you're in a trade school and you're just looking to get by.
Right.
And so I think it'll be interesting. They were talking about even I mean, this is more like AI robot or whatever, but like food delivery at a restaurant, and there's concepts that exist. There's like a restaurant in town called Gecko's that was playing around with a concept, but then there was also feedback that was like, well, someone still physically has to put the food on the tray with the robot to get to the table. And so, people are working out kinks. And I think for some people, they might be sitting there thinking, that future of robot or tech is so far out, and I think there's other people that sit there and go, you're wrong. It's going to happen before you know it. And one of the examples too is like, what are you going to say?
Nothing. I was going to say something, but I was just kind of like, the reality is that if you plan for it to happen and it's pushed out, it doesn't hurt you. But if you don't plan and it happens,
right, you're screwed. But here's the thing too, is that sorry, your feet are all over the place today. What happens in the world is a lot of times outside of our control. And we were in the real estate and title industry. In fact, you didn't have to be in that industry for this change. When COVID hit, a lot of remote communication technology already existed. A lot of remote concepts for trade shows already existed, virtual realms of trade shows and virtual phone calls with video. But if you think prior to COVID, there were some older, antiquated industries, me being part of one of them in the title industry, where these people were very used to picking up a phone and calling, dialing on a telephone, not scheduling a Google Meet or a Zoom or a go-to webinar or anything like that. Not texting, not doing anything, not doing remote online notarizations, not doing anything like that. And these are things that would have taken time to adopt. But the world pushed it probably a decade sooner, if not 5 years. I mean, it really forced everyone to figure out how to function,
right,
in a remote scenario. And so I have no doubt that things are going to happen quickly anyway. And then there could be a worldly event that forces technology to support us even more than it already is.
And you can get all conspiracy theorists.
No, I'm not.
No, what I'm saying is like, people are like, hey, let's get robots out. Like I said this to you the other day. I was like, if I wanted to create an army of robots to do very low cost labor, how would I make an economy that could do that? It'd be like, well, I would force out all the illegal people and I'd create a vacuum of talent. And so you look at it, if you could find the conspiracy in it and go, okay, push a lot of people out, open up, create a vacuum, fill the vacuum with robots where people quickly adopt it because they don't have the choice. It's exactly what you said with COVID and remote work. You adapt because you don't have any choice. And then all of a sudden you've got it. And then you're going to have some fallout over time, just like we've had fallout with remote work and people being like, hey, it's not healthy for you to have remote work. There's so many bad things about it. It's great for people who want to be remote and live and do what they want to do, or live in a very low cost area, but work at a high paying job in their area. But the reality is that
you opened up a can of worms that
the only can that needs to be opened is the M&M can.
Oh my
to dump
God.
The M&Ms
anyway, yes.
into the snack tray.
So we asked, we do have snacks in the office, and nice segue. Let's get off that topic. But we have snacks in the office, and we just got them all replenished after a very long time because I can't do the physical shopping anymore. So I order online.
Was the M&Ms because they're expensive.
And so anyway, a couple of our international employees were trying to get snacks out the other night. Did you show everyone the video?
No. I was going to give it to Maria.
Hilarious. So anyway, they were trying to get snacks out. One of them had done a tiny little spill the other day because they're the snack dispensing containers where you have to take the cap off the bottom that we intentionally leave on there just for like sanitary purposes.
Yeah, so that bugs and stuff don't get it.
But anyway, I think they didn't realize the cap was on the bottom the other day. And so they had taken it off and a couple of them spilled. And so they were trying to avoid the same scenario happening again, took the whole thing off the dispenser and ended up like spilling them all out of the top.
The entire thing of M&Ms everywhere.
So are they clean in there right now?
The ones that are in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's also funny is
need
that
to know.
there was only like 20 left in the whole thing.
Okay.
That didn't fall out. We threw everything away.
Okay.
But then the next morning, they're gone, and Robin's refilling it. And I'm like, Robin, no! I go, no M&M's filling until they leave.
Oh, hilarious. That's so
But
funny.
I think what I'll do is I'm gonna send Maria the video. And
So
if
we were
can cut
last
it to a
night.
short.
They were talking
That'd be
about
amazing.
it happening, and then one of our other employees was like, "Well, don't you have cameras in the office?" And he was like, "No," and I was like, "Yes, we do. We have the Ring camera." And so we remembered we could
So
look
I went
it up,
back, looked at the
and
camera,
we did find it, and it's quite funny.
By the way, like it's good that we have a camera in case like something happens or anything like that. But it doesn't record all day. It records in segments,
Right. But it caught them.
And we were just lucky that
It's
it did
hilarious
catch, is at the end of the
goes,
day.
After it happens, I mean, their faces are priceless. And then Chris is like, "What did you do?" And you can like hear the audio too.
It's
which
one of
is
those
hilarious.
things where like if that was a child, I would probably have yelled, you know? Like, but you're sitting there and you're
Don't say that. I would have not. I mean, it's a mistake.
No. You would have been like,
No. We have this conversation a lot, like, because we are joining the parenting team together of how we will raise our child and children. And anyway, we have high expectations.
yeah.
But it's interesting. I was just going to say, so we're both stern, but super fun. Like, I think we're like a good balance on both sides, but probably could veer into the more serious side, and need to be light or whatever about.
I think you will be a little bit more stern than me.
We'll
I think
see.
that any sternness that I have will be taken more seriously because my stern
they'll
level
care more.
my stern level meter can be much more intense.
Yeah, no kidding.
So use sparingly but more intense.
Yeah.
And I think you will be less intense
more often. Probably. That's probably accurate.
Yeah.
But I saw this thing the other day, and it is so funny. Like, humans are humans, right? But it starts from a young age. Like, infants are leveraging human nature. There's nothing else they can leverage. They have no other information, right? Aside from just nature and their environment, nurture. But what it said is like your child will constantly try to push the barrier because it wants you as a parent to set the boundary, and it wants you as a parent to be consistent in doing so. And it's no different than being in the workplace, right?
She tests boundary every day.
Every day. It's hilarious. Like, we have an infant that she knows what she can and can't touch or what she can and can't do. And
she'll look at us.
Stops what she's doing, looks right in our direction, waits for us to look at her, and then slowly
starts
goes
to do the action.
Touch the dog's water bowl or whatever it may be. Yeah. And then she looks and she kind of smiles, and then she's like, "What if I try it again?" And I mean, this could go on forever.
It could.
But it is actually, I've been thinking about
and
it.
She smiles too. It's like evil.
But it is such a clear depiction of your everyday life with everyone that you're working with. And I think it's true, just like human nature, to want to go a little bit outside the box or to test your boundaries or to see how far you can go, how much you can push someone else's limits. And how,
on the other side of that is broken window theory.
100%, but also how much they're looking for consistency and direction and boundaries to say, yes, this still exists and I still have to fall in line.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay. And then consistency creates that expectation that then allows for that person to function as they do. And so I think that it's important in business to recognize, when you have employees falling out of line, that, you look to yourself to determine, have I provided proper boundaries and guidance and consistency to be fair in judging them in this, moment of falling out of line? And if I haven't, I need to continue. I need to do that. I need to be consistent in doing that. And then at that point, if they're still out of line, okay, now I can evaluate this situation a little bit differently. But yeah, I always turn to myself as a manager first before I look at the employee and think anything's wrong.
That's all really good stuff. Can you tell what I'm trying to do? I'm like, We have one topic left, and I'm
Valentine's Day?
trying to pivot from
get
this
there?
like super intense, like really good stuff to
Well,
that.
the M&Ms was a good transition to that. We
And
just
then we went right back
We
into
got
the-
out. Yeah, we got
into-
distracted.
into
So
punishing
speaking
people.
of chocolate,
Speaking of chocolate,
Valentine's Day is coming up.
you put that on the list.
Did I put Valentine's Day on the list?
Yeah, was that like a hint or something? Like, hey, Saturday's Valentine's Day.
No.
Wink, wink.
No, we've had that discussion when it was my first Mother's Day. Remember, you were like, wait, were you expecting something? And I was like, no. And then I came back the week later and I was like, I know I said I wasn't expecting something. What I didn't know is that I had to say I wanted you to at least physically be there so I wasn't mothering alone on Mother's Day. Remember that?
Yeah,
me
well,
too.
it's tough because I'm not your mother, and you have a mother, and you are a mother. But I guess as the dad role,
Yeah, you're
it's
responsible
my job
now.
to
until
to
she
make
can
it
be
look
responsible
like,
herself.
Like
yeah.
the infant is
Yeah.
like, oh, mom, look at these things I magically.
Well,
had
so
money to get
Valentine's Day
you.
is coming up, and I'd like you to at least be present. On the
Oh, I'm
day.
going to be present, but here's my question: like, you're not expecting like our little one to get you a Valentine's Day gift,
No.
are you? Okay, all right,
No.
Because like I'm your Valentine.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we're her Valentine until she's like 18. So.
Okay, we can get her a little something. You
Yeah.
get her a little something?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
get her something.
Yeah, some yogurt. She
does like
put some
yogurt.
chocolate syrup in the yogurt or
All
something.
right.
Give
All
her some
right.
ice
Well, we
cream.
hope everyone has a lovely Valentine's Day. And if you don't have a significant other, then there is nothing more important than loving yourself.
I agree with that.
So have that.
can't love others
Have
unless you love
that
yourself.
heart-shaped pizza on your couch.
There you go.